YouTube, what's going on? Got another haircut tutorial for you guys, but before we begin, I just want to shout out CT Barber Expo. If you're not going, guys, this is going to be the craziest event. Been talking to Jay Majors and the ideas that he has this year. It's a 2.5-day event. The first night is the Barber Grammys, which your boy is nominated for the International Barber Grammy Awards. So definitely vote for me. And the second day will be the expo floor opens, and the third day is going to be all about business, which is much needed in our industry. To me, it's part of why a lot of people don't see barbering as a real career, because people don't understand the difference between being self-employed and being employed, right? It's a different monster, and I believe that this third day is going to be very beneficial to a lot of us. So if you're not going to CT Barber Expo, man, make a decision, change your mind, and go. It's in Connecticut, obviously, and probably gonna be like 10, 11,000 barbers there from all over the world. So I have no affiliation with it. We will have a booth. I just want to make sure that you guys are going to the right show, because what I've learned over the years, that sometimes people go to the local one or the cheaper one or the one that's easier to get to. And a lot of times that could give you a bad first impression on what a real expo is supposed to be like. So if you're going to go to an expo, go to CT Barber Expo. And one more thing, Salt Lake City Barber Expo is this weekend, April 14th. I'll be there as well. So look forward to seeing everybody at these shows, man. Let's get started with the tutorial. All right, YouTube. So this one is pretty much a textured top with a ball fade. He likes the C cup and the hairline to stay dark and more prominent, so that's what I'm going to attempt. He likes the front lined up. I'm just telling you what he was telling me in the consultation. Now, one thing I did want to do was build up some more weight above his parietal ridge, so it didn't look so faux hawkish. So we're going to not touch too much on the above the parietal ridge, around the round of the head. I'm gonna try to leave a lot of that shape, a lot of that bulk, and just bring it, just cut enough so that it'll grow in a little bit better. That way we can get a more squared shape on the top. But we went ahead and balded him out. I'm using the Babyliss shaver, the Foil FX, and this one's gold. Sorry, my phone just went off. This one's gold. This one's different than the one that I had before. The one I had before was silver, and to my knowledge, they're the same thing. Like, there's no difference besides the look. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and do the blade open and create my first guideline, or my second guideline, my first panel. And if you notice, again, I'm contouring his head, and it's parallel pretty much to the shape of his parietal ridge. And all parietal ridge is it's the highest point that starts to curve into the top of the head. Now I'm starting to take out that, blend out this panel, take out that initial guideline, and I'm all the way open. Now you can see I close it, and I'm taking that bottom line out, putting much more pressure at the initial guideline than I am the higher I go up. So I do change up the pressure a lot of times when I'm cutting hair, because if you're not sure of yourself, if you're not trying to take out a guideline, if you're trying to kind of blend into longer hair, lighten up on the pressure just in case, because skin, as we all know, it's elastic, right? So if you put pressure on the scalp, you can kind of see it push in a little bit. Therefore, you're gonna get closer than if you were just hovering on the scalp. Does that make sense? If I confused you, I'm sorry. All right, so the next guideline is with a number 1 open. And then I'll probably close it. Yep, I closed it. And then if the line that you see there is not gone, then you're gonna need the half guard, or if you have like a taper blade, for example, which I like to do a lot, I'll just kind of use the heel to try to remove the heel of the blade when I'm cutting with the clipper, just to try to remove that line without using the half guard. But the half guard is kind of dummy proof, so just use it. There's no shame in it. Like, just use it. and I'm using it right here. This is my half guard. And if you're not sure what the guard I'm using is, you can always just follow along with the color code on the bottom left corner. That's what that's there for. But you can see the blend is already starting to come together. And just a heads up, guys, for CT Barber Expo, Sunday mornings are the classes. If you are going to the classes, I will be teaching at 1:45. You don't want to miss out. We'll be launching some amazing new products that we've been working on for the past year or so. And as always, I'm just going to try to give you guys as much bars as I possibly can. So super excited for CT. All right, so you guys can see that the half guard really did the job. Like it brought it together, that blend from the one open to the blade open. That half guard really just kind of worked its magic. So now we'll move on to that number 2 open. And if you notice, the teeth are coming off the head. I'm not going into that bulk. Remember I talked about around the parietal ridge area. I really don't want to cut any hair there. I like the length. I like the weight. Actually, I wanted to get longer because I want to build up more of a squared silhouette or squared shape. So we're really not going to cut into or above the parietal ridge. So if you notice, I just kind of come off the shape of his head. And once we're there, we'll go ahead and start blending below the 2 open into the 1 open. So now my 2 is closed, and that should help us get one step closer to blending into that 1 open. All right, and now we're using that 1.5 guard, and that should be the last step. That's the system, and then we'll go back and we'll detail to get the blend to the next level, right? All right, and at this point, we're down to my number 1 open again, and we're just kind of refining the blend some, you know. Here, it looked like we left a little bit of bulk, so I'm working my number 3. I'm not sure how his hair is going to react, but again, I'm kind of super careful not to ruin the weight that I'm trying to build up. I'm hoping that he comes back to me, and you know, a month or 2 from now, it'll be that much closer to the look that we're trying to create. So now I'm doing my C cup. Start with the peak, and I sketch my lineups in. I take my time and I just make sure that the shape is right, and the sharpness, I'll get that, you know, I'll get to that once I get to the razor. All right, so here I'm using my blending shears, and I'm just using my blending shears to kind of soften that up, to blend it, to lighten it up a little bit as well without taking out too much length, right? But it's just a little bit dark around the parietal ridge area, so I'm doing everything in my power, you know, not to cut too much length, and the blending shears give you a little bit more room for error. And really, this is just a bunch of detailing, right? Okay, and I switch to my JRLs, and I'm again just kind of detailing, man. This is where the magic happens, really. More time you have the detail, you know, the better your cut's gonna come out. And for people wondering, I charge $30 for this haircut right here. I charge $30. Okay, so at this point, I'm again trying to keep that squared shape, and I didn't cut his hair last, so I'm just making sure that whatever wants to fall to the sides is cut in that squared shape, and whatever doesn't stays where it's supposed to be. So all right, and we're just gonna repeat the same steps on this side, and I'll let you guys follow along. So just an update. You guys know that I travel a lot for business and for barbering and for educating and all that. This weekend I'll be in Salt Lake City for the Salt Lake City Beauty and Barber Expo. That is the 14th of this month of April. And then at the end of the month, the 24th, I fly to Russia again. I'll be teaching a class in Moscow on the 26th and the 27th, I believe. And then once I get back, that following that couple weeks after that is the CT Barber Expo. That's gonna be crazy. So, and then you got the Orlando premiere, and then you got BarberCon, and then that pretty much is the first half of the year. And then the second half of the year, we got even more stuff. So I want to share all the shows with you guys that we'll be at, because you guys should go to these shows. Like, these are good shows. I've been to them and I know they're good. So definitely would recommend them to anybody who's a licensed barber, an aspiring barber, somebody who's been in the game for a minute and you just kind of need that fire back. This is it. Even if you're a cosmetologist and you want to get a little bit more informed on men's cutting, great shows to go to, especially the premiere. All right, so this is to me one of the best parts of this haircut. If you look at the silhouette, the squared shape is building. We didn't go up too high above the crown, and the way that the blend comes in towards the back and meets in the back, I think it looks really dope. So that's to me, that's an overlooked, finish there. Like, I see that if I see somebody else's cut have that silhouette back there, like, to me, I don't underrate that. I think that's, yeah. Alright, so I'm doing a little bit of clip over comb to refine it, but I'm not depending on it because I don't want to take too much weight off of that area. We'll go ahead and do the C cup, and then we'll detail some more, and we'll start the scissor work on top. Okay, and of course you want to make sure the hair is wet. We're going to go ahead and put a parting here. Okay, now we're cutting the top. We're just taking squared partings, keeping our hand and the hair lifted squared, using the last cut as my guideline for every parting that I take. and working my way through from left to right or from right to left, however you feel comfortable, till you get all through the hair, and then we'll cross check. And of course, I'm using the Tomb 45 Evo shears.
Another Tito Beats production.
Okay, and like I told you guys in the beginning of the cut, he wanted his hairline lined up, so I'm not pushing him back. I'm not trying to give him a Steve Harvey line, to be real with you. I'm just trying to make it symmetrical, and I can see why he wants it lined up in the front. Like, if you look to the right side, the right corner of his hairline, my right corner or your right corner, not his, you can see the hair grows downwards. So he probably always has hair that's just hanging down, and it just doesn't make his hairline look symmetrical, where on the other side it grows to the side. So I can dig it. All right, and now we're going, did I just say I can dig it? That's terrible. I'm sorry, guys. All right, so now we're doing the straight razor, and this is where I get my sharpness. This is where I get my really close cut, and this is where the line starts to pop more. This dude said I could dig it. Unfortunately, I only do one take when I do these voiceovers, so I can dig it is gonna stay. Alright, so it was a little bit out of focus, but now it's more in focus. You can see the haircut's really coming together, man. And you know, once we put some product in there and we can see it for what it really is, I might detail just a bit more. To be real with you, I wish I would have put some enhancement. I know some of y'all don't like it, but I love it, and I think it would have made the cut pop like crazy even more. But I'm using Tomb 45 Royal Wax. Royal Wax is very similar to the clay, has slightly more shine and a little less hold, and that's the cut. If you like it, guys, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you guys, love y'all as always, and as always I appreciate y'all support.